stream is indeed on the right settings and stuff, on the right page, because it's a little bit awkward with just one screen, but we are good. When we start on Lost and Found, it's a good thing we're getting into this, because Proxy 2 Rax Reaper is on the way from one of our players. So we'll start with the player. He is building his barracks in his main base, and it's a single gas though. Not looking pretty, as we do have, to the bottom left hand side, our blue Terran player, GuMiho from Sidestorm Gaming. Going up against the red Terran top right, currently 2 Rax Reapering, it's INnoVation. So, 2 barracks coming on down, and as the 2 racks come on down, here is obviously 2 Rax Reaper production. And again, because it's a faster expansion from GuMiho with no scout, this is straight up a build order disadvantage. The one thing that could go worse for him right here is after this Reaper finishes, if he builds a reactor, straight up this just ends the game for him. Like, I just do not think you defend in that situation. What does he build? It's a reactor, isn't it? I can just tell it's a reactor. I can just feel it's a reactor. No, GuMiho. Okay, well, guys, it was nice casting game number 1 for you guys, but this is very much so OVER. As we're going to see 2 Reapers of INnoVation just going to head up this ramp, and he shuts down the SCV, building the CC immediately. Reactor has to cancel, surely starts with a Marine, but I mean, this factory's going to take a while to finish. Okay, game's not over, as we're going to see these Reapers still microing around, and obviously Micro will still have a lot to kind of come into play. He's actually going to lose a Reaper INnoVation. No, he doesn't. He actually gets the shot off. So he kills his opponent Reaper. Now it's 3 Reapers against soon to be 1 Marine, and there's going to be 3 Reapers against a single Hellion. Nice grenade initially. He actually jumps down for the Reapers here. Reaper is regenerating and is going to get some shots off now. Oh my god. Just able to keep it alive there. SCV's going down en masse. Actually loses a Reaper. At the same time, another Reaper pops up, and, well, again, there's the Hellion, but the Reaper's kind of low on health in fairness. 11 workers killed, kind of insane amounts of damage, and, well, she takes a shot on both Reapers from that Hellion there this time. It doesn't end the game, but the game is already sort of very INnoVation favored, right? He built another couple of Reapers here. I mean, there's going to be 2 Hellions up, so at least further Reaper play shouldn't be able to do too much more. There's the expansion, which is never cancelled here, so it's still building up. So that's going to have the advantage there from GuMiho, but he's playing from a 9 worker deficit. That's obviously really going to hurt, as we're going to be seeing those couple of Hellions coming on back, and just another couple of Reapers on the way out here. There's still 2 already up, so this is going to be INnoVation's way to make sure he still has some sort of production. He's getting a Cyclone out too, something we don't yet see from GuMiho because he's currently supply blocked 23/23, waiting for that command center to finish to get him supply blocked. And this depot will finish just a few seconds later than the CC. So there's one Cyclone on the way out, and INnoVation is still building Reapers at the moment. Very nicely done so far, as we're going to be having a few Reapers just sat on top of this ramp here. We're now going to be seeing INnoVation expanding himself, so by the time his own expansion comes up, yes, it's later than GuMiho's, by about 30 seconds. We're talking about, I guess, a bit more than 30 seconds, maybe about by a minute. It's not going to make up an 8 worker difference that is currently INnoVation's lead, and of course INnoVation has had this lead for so long as well. This enables INnoVation to go in towards the rest of his production a lot faster. You can see Starport being added on here already, for example. And, well, we'll see what else is going to happen. I think GuMiho is just going in towards that stim pack. He's basically just setting up to try and see what he can kind of make happen here. Reapers have a lot of grenades to actually add into this fight. It's actually surprising how much those Reaper grenades will add to this. You're going to see that first Cyclone is getting very low. He's now going to just sit and control the low ground instead. There's one Cyclone just super low on HP. He's just going to be happy kind of killing the SCVs, it seems. Gets a couple of them. Now the command center has to lift up this barracks, and the main base is seeing what's going on. INnoVation doesn't push any further forwards. Again, content with just a single Cyclone, the Reaper to sit on the low ground. Just forcing the SCV or the command center to float back, it just means, boom, SCV production time lost, mine time lost. And obviously he wants to float back down here again at some point, I'd imagine. Reaper's going to hop up in towards the main, trying to force a reaction here, using the barracks high ground vision to actually get some damage on their supply depot. Now the Reapers are just going to gather up together, go for the fight. Third Cyclone though from GuMiho should keep him safe for now. INnoVation probably has to stay backed away. He's actually going to get one of the Cyclones. Doesn't lose a Cyclone just yet. Finally he does. But he actually has the advantage on the Cyclone count as he finishes it up. GuMiho knows that that's not going to work for him. GG's. INnoVation takes game number 1. It was decided by the Reaper. Me actually having the game open on the XSplit. Because we've done that once today at the start. I'm gonna argue the fact it was still very early. It was like 7 AM. I'm not used to having to wake up to cast Korean stuff at 7 AM because I'm not usually in America. And here we go to the top left hand side, our blue Terran player, this is GuMiho. And to the bottom right hand side, our red turn player is INnoVation. Nudity banned, really? Did I get my belly out on stream? God damn it, guys! What can I say? Just trying to get the donations going, you know. Okay, memes aside, don't ban me for being sexist or something. GuMiho is like, you know what's really good? I learned this in the last game. 2-Rex Reaper. And you know what INnoVation says? It's really good if you scout 2-Rex Reaper. Oh my god. Well, obviously this is just a normal scout from INnoVation, but it misses the racks. Honestly, that's not too bad, because as he comes across the map here, this SCV is going to arrive, and he's going to see, well, there's no barracks here, so he kind of knows what's going on. No second gas from INnoVation though, but he should see over the SCV scout in time to not build the command center, which is obviously going to mean that it should be a better defense from INnoVation here than what we saw from GuMiho. So he comes up, he sees no depots, sees no racks, and I think immediately you start up a second gas here as INnoVation. You start up, well, yeah, I guess a bunker too. That makes sense. Also, that also works out. Factory is going to be a priority as soon as he gets 100 gas, which is right now. So again, gets that down instantly. Doesn't, you know, slow it down for anything. And I guess, does he just go into marine production here? It doesn't matter what he builds off the back, so I think that marine production is fine. It's just the fact he needs to start up marine production immediately, rather than wasting time starting to build a reactor, which is exactly what happened when GuMiho tried to open as well. Honestly, this is just a shutdown, because, I mean, there's going to be a bunker up on either side of this ramp. There's no jump-in potential on the top side of Acid Plant's main base, so INnoVation is going to be completely well defended. And, well, yes, okay, GuMiho is going to be able to maybe have the map control expand a bit faster on the low ground. You can see those Reapers actually just going to try and dive on in, but honestly that wasn't a great start. This is an SCV, this is a second SCV loss, but obviously one Reaper's already down. There's going to be a second Reaper down now as well. INnoVation will just start up a Cyclone immediately. He actually starts up a Tech Lab. You know what, I actually kind of like it, because if he goes straight into Cloak Banshees here, he doesn't need the Cyclone to kind of defend, because he knows that he's in a completely fine position. He doesn't need more units. But if he builds a Banshee ASAP, what's the, like, you know, how much anti-air is there going to be across the map from GuMiho? Well, not too much usually at this sort of stage. A little bit, but not, you know, loads or anything. Another Reaper here gets very low, and it is going to be this Reaper chasing down for the kill. And he does just trade out there, one Reaper for a Reaper. I think that's kind of fine. 2 Marines still up on this high ground, and the starport again immediately onto that Tech Lab. INnoVation is just rushing for this Cloak Banshee at the moment. Doesn't want to waste any time at all. And there is the Banshee starting up in production. So Cloak, Banshee, Factory was looking as though it might have wanted to jump on towards the reactor there, but decides to just build its own Tech Lab instead. And now 2 Marines on the way out at a time. I wonder if he just turns this into a very aggressive push where, because his Factory and starport are so much sooner, he goes in towards like a Cloak Banshee tank Marine push, which can be very effective, because especially if you have, like, you know, if you force missile turrets in the mineral lines, boom, Banshees at the front are going to be very powerful. So, you know, if there's no detection there, if your opponent didn't save scans because they had turrets, or if the Banshee just caused enough chaos, obviously a Marine tank push then becomes very powerful in its own right anyways. So, you know, we're going to be seeing one Banshee finishing up. We'll start to head across the map, and as we do see the barracks into the main base, we'll scout what's going on. INnoVation does start a command center. He's not going to be all in with this, and there is the first tank on the way too. It's just the Banshee that I just, okay, well, Raven, that's a good start actually. That's a good little bit of anti-air, which is going to give him detection. Of course, he does have a Cyclone on the way out too, so I like it. It's a good start. It's a good start still. I like the idea. Obviously, you can interfere into Matrix of Banshee too. It's actually very powerful to interfere into Matrix of Banshee, because not only does it bring it out of Cloak consistently, but it also stops it from firing. And if it can't attack, Banshee's not going to find anywhere near as much damage as it would like to. Cloaks up the Ravens here, he's just like, oh, okay, then the Order Turret actually drops down just a little bit faster. Banshee doesn't really achieve much at all. Second Banshee is finished, and well, GuMiho goes into his own Cloak Banshee setup. 2 Reapers do hop into the main, as Banshee is actually in position for INnoVation to shut those Reapers down, so Reapers are dead now. Did INnoVation see the Cloak Banshee from GuMiho? He did, so he sees it. Whether he thinks it's real or not is a different question, but it should generally be okay for him to kind of set up here, right? Like, this should be looking kind of decent at the moment. We're going to be seeing those barracks going to get taken down. GuMiho definitely a mech player, and even in TvT will play mech a lot of the time, so, you know, not necessarily kind of fully reliant on having both of his barracks alive after the 2-Rex Reaper. The cool thing about 2-Rex Reaper is you can transition into bio or mech depending on how you want to play, so it kind of works out quite nicely as we're going to be seeing these Marines. The siege tank coming up towards the top side. Cloak is going to be finishing in a moment or two, so that's finishing up shortly. Raven on the way out from INnoVation as well in the main base. And again, just going to see those Marines pushing forwards. This SCV going to get taken down. For SCV is actually going down as this Banshee finds an opening for a moment. It pulls units out of position so you can actually get in position at the front. There's only, what, like 1 Marine, 2 Marines in this bunker? Cyclones are coming forwards now, and obviously SCVs will come in to kind of repair as well, but it'll cost them some SCVs. There's the Banshee on the other side of the map. Marines, Cyclone on the way, Raven on the way out too, so INnoVation is going to be somewhat prepared for it. Does he have a scan for this Banshee aggressively? Yes, he does actually. But obviously it's very risky to commit onto it, but GuMiho doesn't micro, so GuMiho actually does lose his Banshee. That one tank there is now scored by a couple of Marines though, so really not that much. Marines coming to fight this Banshee with an auto turret too. It does go down. 12 workers killed though. INnoVation is down to 22 SCVs against 32. He's actually got some reinforcing Marines though. He's got another couple of tanks. This is actually suddenly 3 tanks. This is starting to become a much bigger issue here. Another Banshee on the way out from GuMiho. INnoVation cannot lose those Marines. They are absolutely essential to his cause right now because he needs to protect the siege tanks from further Banshee play. The thing is, he's in range of the natural, so at the very least he's going to get some SCV kills here. There's that Banshee coming in. It's difficult to deal with. INnoVation scans, but I think he knows he can't go that far forwards, and as he unsieges the tanks, that's the moment where he's going to turn around. He's actually got the Raven. He's going to fight the auto turret. He does get rid of it. Cyclones lock onto the Raven for just a moment there. These 2 tanks are so low now. INnoVation with his own Cyclone arriving across the map. Banshee comes into play. Cyclone actually locks onto it here. Banshee will just commit on for both. Siege tank killed. It doesn't quite reach it. Costs him this Banshee, which was actually a little bit of a shame because that shouldn't have happened. That really shouldn't have happened. That Banshee should have just been able to get that and then get out of there, get repaired and get ready to go again. Still shuts down a lot of the tanks though. That's 2 tanks killed. Obviously that's a pretty big deal. INnoVation has the upper hand on that tank fight. And he's going to lose it now though for the moment. The Banshee comes on the left hand side once again. Remember, the Raven gives him the vision he needs for that. This tank is it not really in range? It is in range. GuMiho doesn't have the vision. What was it? Fire on it instead? Or is it just friendly fire damage that's being done here? It's just out of range. Wow, scan comes down. Lock on onto the Raven maybe could be good. Which you're going to be seeing INnoVation just pushes forwards. The Cyclone will get rid of the siege tank here. And now there's only 1 tank left, although he's still trading pretty well. A Viking in the sky. He's going to get rid of this Banshee, which has no energy. He could get rid of the Raven too. This is actually a good trade if he's able to chase down the Raven and the Banshee. And he's going to try and split in different directions. It doesn't work though. INnoVation gets the kills, but still 10 SCVs behind. But he has a 3rd CC in position. GuMiho is building a 3rd CC. Obviously he still has to morph into an orbital move down to low ground. But that gives INnoVation a bit of extra eco to work with. Having killed the Banshee and the Raven here, as he actually drops down the Vikings and gets some more damage done, he actually built a Liberator. I like it because he has air control. It's actually going to be difficult to deal with this Liberator right now as GuMiho, who has 2 tanks and a Banshee, he actually doesn't have any anti-air. He has no anti-air, he doesn't even have a Marine. Oh dear. GuMiho has absolutely nothing. And if this Liberator comes in, sieges up, I mean, goodbye siege tank. Hello, sieging up on the natural again, and I mean, straight away that tank goes down. SCVs pull away. There is nothing in position right now from GuMiho, and this could be the game changer. As this is another Banshee coming in. There's the Sky's got a Viking and Marines. GuMiho's in trouble. He's going to lose the natural. If he doesn't lose the natural, at least at the very least, he's losing a hell of a lot of mining time right now. There's GuMiho across the map. His Banshee trying to do a little bit more. But this time it's INnoVation with the real damage being dealt here. This tank does siege up and it is in range of some Marines. Why isn't this Liberator pushing forwards, man? Like, is he really just... I mean, I guess he just doesn't realize that there's literally 0 anti-air at all. He moves it forwards now and towards that siege tank here. The Vikings will fight each other. The tank will survive this. The Viking obviously wins out for GuMiho. It had just a little bit more HP. And eventually now this Liberator goes down as well. The tank's just going to be left here for as long as possible. Sieges up a bit further forwards, but that's going to be it. And wow, behind this, INnoVation has got his extra barracks up. He's on to 5 racks. Stim pack and combat shields have started up. So those upgrades getting going. The bioplay really getting established. React onto the starboard. This tech lab free for factory to take in the near future, I'm sure. Viking still just sat overhead as a couple of SCVs repairing up. That Viking is going to get repaired. And the siege tank also going to be repaired here. And again, 1-1 upgrade, stim, combat shields, all of this on the way through at the moment. And it looks as though INnoVation, he's also got his 3rd CC mining right now, which is already a massive advantage, 10 worker lead as well. INnoVation, he's kind of, you know, I had this little rant earlier about Beyond's TvT back in the day, and the W Star Masters, a Chinese tournament in 2016. INnoVation's TvT has sort of remind me of that. It's like, he just sort of has the answers no matter what's happening. He isn't afraid of cheese. His cheeses are working. His opponent's cheeses don't work. Everything just seems to be working out wonderfully for INnoVation, game after game. As we do just see, I'm not even sure what that is, just a single Marine working on this. Across the map, some Vikings try to get some damage done, but, well, GuMiho's going to play Bio as well from here. You actually don't really mind it, because I think trying to play mech, you just don't get enough units up in time to stabilize on free bases by the time INnoVation starts running at you with Bio units. So, I think the Bio makes sense. You're limited to 2 base for a long time, you're lacking gas to get factories up. I just don't know what you actually do though as GuMiho in terms of being able to win the game, because Stim, Combat Shields is actually, yes, Stim isn't that further ahead for INnoVation, but Combat Shields is, and 1-1, and that's going to be the difference, having Combat Shields in this fight, having 1-1 in this fight. This is going to be a little bit too good from INnoVation. I think we see the Vikings here. I mean, he should, well, it's scary because the tanks are there. He doesn't want to just commit on in. He actually loses a medevac. Actually, doesn't lose a medevac somehow. What was Vikings even firing on in the end if they didn't kill the medevac? I don't know. Scan from INnoVation. He sees what's up. He's trying to push his tanks a little bit further forwards. Is he just going to go for it? He's literally a siege tank here. And this was a bit messy. He's trying to find an opening, but he doesn't actually quite have it yet. He's just losing a couple of units, so GuMiho defends for now, and that's important because obviously it gives him a chance to catch up on upgrades. Gets Combat Shields started too. He definitely can't fight without Combat Shields. I like this from INnoVation as well, though, just coming across the map with 2 drops. I mean, it's going to be one of those ways to... it's going to be one of those ways where you can just come across, and obviously it starts to pull GuMiho apart a bit, although there's a missile turret, but there's only one that's going to be in range. Maybe this one gets 1 shot off. I think the medevacs get by. If they boost, I think they get by alive. Let's see. Yeah, they're going to boost. He gets past the first one, second one's not going to be enough. Oh, some Marines though. He's going to get into the main base. However, GuMiho saw this coming to some extent, so he is going to be able to come in for Vikings and Marines in the main. That's actually an unsuccessful drop from INnoVation. The rest of INnoVation's army unable to do much as well. The sensor tower is really just stopping much from happening, I suppose, because with the sensor towers up, and every single move from INnoVation is sighted here. You know, every single move is seen. There's going to be some Marines and tanks coming on over to the right hand side. And we do have a few Marines and tanks to the left as well. INnoVation still trying to multitask here as GuMiho just plays that defensive game. Obviously INnoVation is doing what you should do when you have map control and the lead in the game, which is just out expand and keep on taking the advantages wherever you can, which is basically just by expanding. It's going to be seeing another couple scans coming down. What's up, Zombie Grub? How you doing for the 21-month resub? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you in Canada. We had some good times in Vancouver. Some good memes. Medevac's going to come out and head down towards the bottom right hand side. As we do see this Medevac moving forward, so let's be a little bit careful. More tanks do fire away and those Marines get a little bit low. This drop's actually going to find reinforcements here, which is actually a little bit of an annoyance. INnoVation has to lift up a tank. His 5th base building is probably going to be cancelled, you'd imagine. He's pulling units back to deal with it, but he does have to cancel. But again, it's the fact he's confident enough to build a 5th base. That's his lead in this game. He keeps the economy in the lead. Eventually, GuMiho either gets starved out, or he has to find another expansion. And by the way, look at how on point INnoVation is with his upgrades. 2-2 just finished, free starts instantly. And he's already so far ahead on the 2-2 of GuMiho. If GuMiho gets his free for a second, it's just going to expand that upgrade deficit which he's currently in. Scan comes down, Marines and tanks move up the left side. Vikings here, obviously going to be having a little look to see what's up, and you just get a shot off onto one medevac. Some tanks and Marines out in the center too, just going to be sat out here and defend this base still. INnoVation is still in a couple different locations. A 4th base from GuMiho trying to come into position. GuMiho's own couple of medevacs moving around the map as well, trying to see just what else they can do here. So it's going to be unloading just to the south side. As you see, Marine spots this army here, so he pulls the 4th base back, and again, contained on 3 bases. Eventually GuMiho mines out. So what GuMiho has to do is GuMiho has to basically find a very good fight, because he has to trade well enough to to basically outdo the effects of having a 4th base with INnoVation. This drop's kind of nice, but the tank is cleaning it up slowly but surely. INnoVation's army is actually a little bit all over the place. His 5th base looks as though it's going to go down again. INnoVation's mostly on the right side of the map, nothing on the left, so it's again an annoyance to have his 5th base actually this time killed, not a cancel. So that's a little bit of a shame. Marines just continue to come on in here from INnoVation and just continue to push GuMiho away up to the top side of the map. Fusion core on the way from INnoVation. One of the things that's very powerful here in the later stages of the game is definitely to try and take air control. You can get a Viking count up and then Liberators to break through siege tank lines. Very powerful. 2-2 against 2-2 right now. INnoVation not going to push in without the upgrade lead at least. GuMiho's +1 vehicles about to finish up. INnoVation's +2 vehicles, again just so far ahead, one of the advantages he holds from earlier in the game. As we do see Marines gathering together, tanks are sieged up. But now the Viking count is definitely in favour of GuMiho. Not for long. Not for long. INnoVation's actually setting up a little bit of a surround here as well, just in general, with the help of his units that he had on the top side. So I'm not sure if GuMiho realizes this, as this is an unsiege from GuMiho. He's going to push a little bit further forwards. Again, Vikings here very soon from INnoVation, and then Liberators as well to also push back that siege tank line. It's funny, this 5th base, just don't build it in position, INnoVation. You have not been able to hold it at all. You just have 2 more CCs building in the back this time, at least fair enough. As GuMiho's on a 4th, he's taking a 5th command center. You know, he's getting back on track in terms of economy, but I still think there's just a little bit too much right here for INnoVation. I mean, again, the Viking count is obviously going to come as a bit of a surprise as well. He's so far ahead in that regard. He stims in. Oh, he's going to lose the fight to the top side massively, though. INnoVation is really going to be struggling in that fight. A lot of his supply is in Vikings, remember, and now he has to reposition over to the right-hand side to defend. His tank's going to have to unsiege and relocate. It's only Marines, but a massive stim Marines are incredibly terrifying when you are really reliant on kind of mechanical units. Which INnoVation is, if you look at the unit count, he is on 30 Marines against 70. It's so tank reliant. He's so reliant on Liberators as well. I'm just going to siege these Liberators up now against one of those siege tanks in the front line. INnoVation loses a base though. GuMiho have some good progress on this right hand side, kills 30 workers as he goes for it. INnoVation has a 5th base now in position, so that's again his advantage still. He still has the upgrades for about another 40 seconds or so. That advantage is slipping away over time. He also holds the air control, that's what I wanted to say. He has 11 Vikings to about 3 or 4. He still holds that advantage too, so I still prefer INnoVation's composition, but these Marines are terrifying. They can do a lot because they're so mobile. INnoVation has to be very careful with how he moves around this. Marines are going to start stimming in, and right now INnoVation isn't sieged up with tanks or anything. I have to say it's a very heavily over-stimmed army from GuMiho though. INnoVation has enough orbitals to just keep scanning. He needs to keep scanning. He needs to keep track of his army at all points here. More Vikings on the left side again, taking down Liberators. Going to push the Viking tanks away again. Medivacs though are going to come around the right, and this base is going to have to lift up and get out there. INnoVation going to try and rotate back right here. And these Vikings obviously just a little bit kind of, again, just kind of lost in their own at the moment. And you see this Marine force. I actually think you can actually fight this now because the Marines of GuMiho are just so low on hit points. GuMiho's actually going to lose this very quickly. The drop into the main has been annoying. It's actually killing off some starports, which is obviously going to slow down further Viking production of INnoVation. INnoVation was actually prioritising some Marines more recently, though, knowing that Marine count has maybe been his weakness for the recent times. You're not going to be seeing those Marines picking their way through refineries. Depots as well continue to drop at the moment. Even a factory going down. INnoVation pushing across the map. I like this move because it feels as though it's a move which kind of secures him the game while he just defends this drop at home. Let's see though, because there is tanks defensively. He sets up his own tanks now. He doesn't have that many Marines to support his tanks, although he loses a lot of his Marines right here as well. A few Marines left in the main. I guess he's just going to use these couple Marines as a tank to deal with that. He's bringing his Vikings and Liberators across the map, knowing that he probably needs these to be able to fight here. These Medivacs have to get out of there. Does not want to stick around in this position. Tank siege up again, slowly pushing forwards again. It's the Liberators and the Vikings that make the difference here for INnoVation. He already has 4 libs. The Viking count's actually even, so INnoVation doesn't have that advantage here, even if he thinks he maybe does. The Liberators are going to siege up. The Vikings are going to start taking the fight. He actually uses a couple of Liberators in the front to actually tank, which is actually going to change the way it goes in terms of the Viking war. INnoVation also has upgrades on his Vikings, so actually even counts does favour him. INnoVation lost a lot of bases though, and GuMiho has got bases around the map. However, he's losing a couple of Liberators as they spawn the starports out of position based on where INnoVation is and where GuMiho's army is. And so INnoVation is going to be taking that advantage back into his own once again here. Vikings still joining up, tanks are still splitting around, and it looks as though INnoVation is going to overrun this base. And from here, INnoVation just makes his way around the bases, shutting down the economy of GuMiho. And from there, GuMiho doesn't really have much to play for. In the main, he's trying to get another couple of Vikings up and ready to party, but I'm not sure if it's really going to be enough at all. Some tanks are holding the front line as well, stopping anything on the ground coming out of that natural expansion. And again, if INnoVation just keeps rotating around to these other bases, he's just going to keep on getting kill after kill after kill. And again, the economy is just not going to survive. I mean, tanks siege up, tanks fire. It's going to take a couple of shots, but yes, this bounty force will probably die. You can try and repair if you want to. I don't think it really makes a difference. Liver is trying to siege up on top of the tanks, but he's going to lose all of them to Marines. GuMiho, there's a last-ditch effort, and INnoVation takes the series 2.